Good afternoon. How are you all doing? And it's Tuesday afternoon, another show to add to the wee log. I mean, my friend said the other day there to me, Dee, do you realise that everybody's starting to call you Eddie Murphy? And I couldn't get why they kept saying Eddie Murphy, and it's because he plays multiple parts in his films. So apparently that's what Dee's comedy page is now, a TV show. But there you go. But this is a real show where we're going to be discussing things that would help alleviate stress, anxiety, all things like alternative therapies. And I'm going to be doing it with my good friend, Adam Robinson. So let's bring Adam Robinson on the show.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. How are you? Aye, not bad. How's you?
I'm well. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Adam's got a
but apart from that, I'm okay. Yeah.
So we're going to, so everyone that's tuned in, there is a donations link that helps the guys get graphics and stuff for the shows. I don't really make any money out of it other than Iron Brew, but it gives the guys something to do. Today we're going to be talking about mental health, and we're going to discuss our own personal things. I'm just going to briefly tell you a bit about myself, and then Adam's going to, we're not going to go personal, it's up to us how personal we go, but obviously most of my fans know I had various types of abuse growing up. And I turned very quickly at the age of 12 to narcotics and other types of drugs in order to survive the pain that I had inside. And then when I got to about 27, I had to decide whether I was going to become a decent mother or keep failing myself because of life things. And that took me on my journey of counselling. And I kind of found that along the way, holistic approach for me personally helped my journey, and that's where I got into all the different meditations. I'm also an SGI Buddha as well, which you all know because I've spoke about that before, and that helped me forward. We're not taking down the need for medication from the doctors, we're just looking at things that we do, and I've got a friend on as well that's going to discuss what she does, Reiki and theta healing. So what about yourself, Adam?
In terms of coping strategies, I found meditation useful. I've had a friend who's been pestering me about meditation for years, like 2 decades, right? Mm-hmm. And I have always gone, it sounds great, but I've never got time. And he used to say, people who can't meditate, everyone should meditate for 20 minutes a day, unless you're really, really, really busy, and then you should meditate for an hour.
Yes.
It was only, I think, in September last year, I started doing it more regularly, pretty much every morning. And I was reading Sherry Huber's book, called Unconditional Self-Acceptance, where she talks about meditation. And anyway, I found that it's sad that often it takes a crisis for you to apply yourself in this way. And we were talking about this the other day, that you shouldn't just apply coping strategies when you're having a bad time. They should become part of your practice. And Sherry Huber says that in her book, that meditation should be like brushing your teeth. Mm-hmm. You know, never go without brushing your teeth because you would feel it. When she doesn't meditate for a day, she feels it, you know, and you should get to the stage with meditation that that's the same. You just feel off. And so in interest of full disclosure, I haven't been as rigorous with my schedule as my meditation as I should be, as I want to be. Should's the wrong word for that. As I would like to be. So I'm meditating maybe a few times a week, but I also do a lot of other things that help. So my workouts, I do Wim Hof's breathing method, which is free. You can get an app on your phone, and you do that breathing. It's brilliant for not just mental health, but for your physical health, for your lymph system, for just keeping you on top. He was very keen to point out in his website, because he's come under criticism before, and this was a man who was injected with hepatitis B under laboratory conditions. He was infected with, I think it was hepatitis B, and he used his breathing technique to charge his immune system. And then they tried it on other people, and it worked. Mm-hmm. He is definitely a crazy guy, but he's done all of his tests under lab conditions. He ran up to the top of Everest in his shorts, right? No Gore-Tex, no like high tech equipment, just using. So they call him the Iceman. He jumps into ice. He's got the Guinness World Record for holding himself in ice for more than 2 hours with nothing but his pants on. in a huge big tub of ice using this breathing technique. And then people said, oh, well, he's just superhuman. He's got some mad, genetic bank that he can just cope with these things. So they gave him 10 kind of regular office worker people, and he schooled them for 10 days doing the breathing. And they all did the same thing. They ran to the top of this mountain with no special equipment. So the breathing, which you can do, you can get the Wim Hof breathe app on your phone. Yeah. You can do it online or on his YouTube channel. And it's that breathing is meditative in itself. I suppose it's a dynamic form of breathing. It's helped me with my sleeping, because there was a time where I just wasn't getting to sleep. And it was recommended you do that breathing before you go to sleep, and it just sends you off really nicely. So it's good to do just daily. So I do try and do that. So do you know what? If I'm not meditating, I'm doing my Wim Hof breathing, and then I also do a bit of Buddhist chanting. And as I was saying to you the other day, I'm not a Buddhist. I don't adhere to any kind of organized religion, but the principles and what I read a fantastic book called The Buddha, Jeff and Me. I don't know if you've heard of the book. It's a cracker, really easy read. Lays out the principles of Buddhism in a novel form, and there's some of the things out of that really spoke to me about Buddhism was turning poison into medicine.
Yes, that is amazing. That is one of the most amazing things I found out about Buddhism, that how quickly, like today, as you said, obviously people will notice I'm a wee bit puffy-eyed and stuff, but we had to go to a COVID-19 distance funeral today for my gran. And, normally you would channel into what the negative things you see, but I just channeled into, there was a couple of birds flying over the sky. It was a beautiful, clear sky. The sun was shining, and that gave me peace. And I also found with chanting, because I came from a place that I always thought, because of the stuff that happened to me when I was younger, I used to think if something good happened, you had to take something bad with it. And that became a pattern that I charged into my own life, that I would push subconsciously for something to go wrong because something good had happened. So Buddhism taught me how to, and also as I'm talking about my friend that I'm just going to bring on, my friend Dawn Sims, we met each other through, I did psychic reading for her, for my friend, through another friend who does theatre healing, and that's how I was going to get, because I started off my first holistic, I really believe this therapy was Reiki. I used to go for Reiki every fortnight because I had really bad anger management issues, which I manage really well now, but it's still obviously there. And Reiki, I just felt the whole release through my body. So do you know much about Reiki? Have you ever tried that?
I did Reiki once. I surf. I've been a surfer since I was 12. And I broke, it turned out it wasn't broken, but I really damaged my foot surfing once when I was abroad. And it was a friend of a friend's mother who did Reiki on me. I never heard of it. And she said, Reiki on your foot. At that point, I was in so much pain. I said, you can do it. If it's going to help, give it a shot. And it really did help, because I was in surfing again, because I was on holiday. I wanted to maximize my time, and I didn't want to be out of the water. Nothing worse than being away on holiday to surf and not be able to surf. So within about 2 days, I was back in the water. So that's the only time I've done it. So I've heard about it, I know about it, and I had it practiced on me once.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on my friend Dawn Smith in another 10 minutes, and then we'll talk about what she says. But before I bring her on, any questions that you think would relate to helping you with Reiki, or any guidance on how you get it distance and all the things that we're going to discuss in the next couple of minutes, just pop it in the inbox and we'll get it sorted for you. But without further ado, let's bring on Dawn Sims.
Hi,
how are you?
Good, thank you. So for anybody that's maybe not heard of Reiki or heard of it, not kind of sure what it is, how does it work? It's an ancient Japanese technique, and it can be used for relaxation, just as simple as relaxation, for stress reduction, anxiety, and it also promotes healing as well, like the physical side, like you mentioned there, Adam, as well. It does help with physical ailments. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy. It's gentle. I always think it's a gentle energy, but it can also bring up stuff that's maybe core beliefs that have been really stuck in that core, and you're thinking, you're not realising you're carrying all this about with you. So I got into it about 10 years ago, and I've never looked back. I am Reiki Master Teacher level now, and yeah, I've been brought back to it with a bang recently. There's a big twist in the universe. I've really brought back to my healing side. So it is, like I say, it's beautiful. Use symbols with it, so you symbols downloaded to you when you are taught how to do your certain levels. And I am Holy Fire. So that is a really strong symbol that's getting right in there and bringing up all that needs to be released. In normal circumstances, in normal life, I would have a one-to-one with somebody and ask them if it's okay to place my hands gently on the body, obviously not on private parts. But in instances just now where people are contacting me, it's more using the distance symbol. So I did this in a group setting with a group of ladies who were doing wellbeing work, and I've joined, and I've got a wee Wednesday slot in the morning with them. And one of them had a healing crisis, because that can happen as well if something's deep seated in there and you're really needing to let it go. And gave the Reiki session, and she contacted me saying she just kept going back to bed and she was kind of upset and stuff. So I worked again with her because I know that she needed more. And then she's been great ever since. She's kept in contact, and there was a lot came up, like from her childhood, mum, dad, things like this, in the childhood, that she never felt loved, and this all came up through it. So it's not overly common to have a healing crisis, but it does happen. So yeah, I've used that. I don't mind admitting I struggled with mental health up until probably the start of this year, from maybe primary 7. I was always outcast. I was always, my father didn't want me. I was, I had lots of issues with that. And then I was brought in, like you were saying, Dee, with Fiona for theta healing. And I did the 3 courses last year. And by God, I went to hell and back a million times. But now my shift, my whole outlook, my positivity, the things I don't tolerate and put up with now that I did, it just kept me down. I didn't want to say this or upset him. I do things now in a loving way. And yeah, I'm really happy to report that I don't have anxiety and depression anymore through doing these other practices, these modalities that I've came across, and it's just wonderful. And it's like, I feel like I've given the best gift to myself that I could possibly give, is the power of healing, just going inward and dealing with stuff and getting it out of the way.
So it's like what I'm like, because I've got my Reiki level 2. I have done Reiki level 2. I've never got round to advancing to my teachers or masters, but I do have my Reiki level 2. And the thing that I found was beautiful, because I did spiritual healing before I did Reiki healing.
Yeah.
With spiritual healing, you tend to take on the issue or the ailment, it comes back into you. Whereas with the Japanese healing system, coming from the portal is working from a light out you and throughout. So you're always taking it away from the body. And that's what I found very interesting in it.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just the best. When I'm healing somebody, the best part about this is I'm getting healing for myself as well, because it's going through me. So yeah, I'll maybe pick up, I can be start at the head with somebody and I'll work my way around, and it's intuitively you're connecting in, like, they're right me, there's something not right there. So you maybe feel like you want to spend a bit more time doing that and on that area, and you work your way around the body, and it's all auric field and stuff as well. It's just plugging it with, charging it up with positive energy. So as it's coming straight from source, the same as theta as well. You're working with the highs to the high, so it's all that you're working with, and you're guided, and you're.
So theta, that's in the nano brainwave, isn't it?
Theta brainwave, yeah. So it's basically connecting up there, going into the brainwave where, when you're just about to fall asleep and you're in that kind of, you're not quite sleeping, but you're kind of in and out. That's the brainwave. There are different brainwaves, but that's the one that we channel doing the healing. And it's about going in, and intuitively I can go in and say, right, do you have a session? It can be a phone session, video, or face-to-face. Allowing somebody to connect with your energy, going in, I'll have a wee look and say, oh, I've seen something with your right elbow, your head, blah, blah, blah. Where does that fit in with you? You would start telling me about these maybe ailments you've got or something. I would dig back to when that would maybe have started with you. It was about 3 years ago. Okay, Dee, what was happening in your life then? And you're digging for the core beliefs. It can be things like, I am not worthy. When I'm vulnerable, I have a fear of being vulnerable because I'm not in control. Okay, what happens when you're not in control? And it's digging all around all this. And what comes up is just amazing, because most often people don't realise they've got all this. And it can be past life stuff as well. So you're carrying it all for years, and you don't realise you've got it. So that is really, with the Reiki, the 2 of those for me have been a total blessing.
So how would you apply that to, I mean, obviously I do have a bit of knowledge about Reiki. I have quite a bit of knowledge about Theta because I have been a lot, me and Fiona did Beyond Belief together, and I did the spiritual element and we did the Theta healing. We did that together before I took up comedy. So I was on that circuit with her and I was doing Theta, and there's a muscle testing thing as well, Adam, right? So it's basically you stand centered, don't you? And you basically ask the inner self, the side bit, what you'll say, do you feel worthy? And it's like your body going back or forward. So you go forward for yes and back for no. And it's your body. And I used to think, right, they're moving their body. That's not happening because I'm so skeptical. I'm like, you know, I come from a counsellor, I say I'm very spiritual, but I've been suffocated with realness. So I'm always along the way with everything spiritual I do. I question it all the way. And I seen this woman moving and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder how much she's getting paid. Do you know what I mean? There's no way that and actually I went and did it. And, you know, I went with the mind of proving them wrong. So I was even more tense than what I would have been normally because my body won't move because that didn't happen. And it actually did. And it was from there on in that I addressed a lot of my issues. But like me and Adam were discussing as well, I'm an SGI Buddha. It's one of the firm things I have firmly fitted in, but I'm not firmly in any. I don't go to regular meetings. I don't buy into the religion cusp. I don't believe in passing in beliefs on, and I believe in sharing your belief and your positivity. However, Theta did change my life 100% because I used to say as well, because Fiona used to say this to me all the time. I used to say, but there's always drama. Everybody in my family's always arguing, and they said I've said this and I've said this, and Fiona says, and where are you when this is happening? Tell me where you are. And I'm like, in the middle. She said, yes. So get out. Do you know what I mean? So it's amazing.
Why would you like the theory of like if you tell yourself something enough, then you create it, don't you? So it's like a lot of things are from childhood, I think, from that reason as well, because you're taught things and you become like everybody says, God, I'm my mum, I sound like my mum, I sound like my dad. And it's because it's years of them, like, you know, in your head, and it's, you know, it's breaking away from that and thinking, what is really your thoughts? What is somebody else's? What do I need to bring up to get rid of?
So what would you use this? Obviously, I want this show, basically, we're looking at other things. I've been talking to my shamanic, trying to say that, shamanic friend as well, you know, and he's lived out in the forestry and all that, and he was telling me different things. What would you say? Obviously, I don't know about you, but there's a big surge in spirituality. Of course there is. As soon as there's fear, there's God. As soon as fear's away, God's not there. A lot of people... But I believe in higher energies, not from any place, just a higher energy. You know, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it Allah, you want to call it that's your source and your thing, but it doesn't need to leave that position. But I found right now, I've been self-reiki, because obviously you can self-reiki. If you have done your level 1, you can do all the positions in self-reiki. And if you put your mind to it, it does have the same benefits of someone doing it on you. So what would you apply? What would you apply to life for just now for your Reiki and Theta? What are you doing most with your clients just now in this moment?
It was initially Theta because I'd just done that, but I'm finding there's a big drive for Reiki just now. I'm having people contacting me. I was having headaches the other day again, so that just spurred me right back into it as well. Get the hands on. I've got the tools here. Let's do it. In 10 minutes, you know, and boom, it helps with sleeping as well. So yeah. I think you're right. There has been a big surge in it as well, and I think people are tapping into other things, seeing what else is out there. And yeah, I will say that as well. I'm not a doctor, and yeah, I still occasionally would maybe take tablets for something as well. But I now know there's another way of dealing with this. I think it was maybe about 3 months ago. I had a chest infection, and I'm normally floored for about a week and a half with those. And I thought, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to doctors this time. I'm not talking myself up my antibiotics, and I did. Theta working myself, we topped up with a wee bit of Reiki at the end. 3 days later it was gone with no antibiotics, no nothing. So you know, it's just proving itself that yeah, like you say, you do doubt yourself when you do these things. Oh God, that's not working, it's just in my imagination. But it's absolutely it's out there. And yeah, I think I would advise MD watching, if you are suffering mental health, that it is a big thing. It is a really big deal these days, but there are alternative therapies there as well. So, you know, still go to a doctor, go to a counsellor if that feels right for you, but go with who feels right for you. So you might look up somebody, and I think like reputation as well speaks volumes. So somebody has been say to you, like, such and such really good at Reiki, go for a wee session. You can do it distance. You can just lie in your bed, sit on your chair, 20 minutes, half an hour, and just receive that beautiful energy and give that wee gift to yourself.
Thank you. You want to ask Adam?
Can I ask something? Do you know what came to me when you were talking there about the healing power of Reiki? I was thinking, where is there a reference in popular culture to Reiki? And what came up was Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid. You know, when he does that and he heals Ralph, you know, and he just heals his broken leg like that. I suppose that's the closest reference we have in popular culture to Reiki. You know,
let's get it out there.
So just before you go, Dawn, because I understand, I mean, Dawn's not like me and Adam. She's not conditioned to the screen and the camera. She's just doing her good friend a favour, you know. But Dawn has got a beautiful soul, and the reason I wanted to bring her on as well is because I know that Dawn's struggled, and I find that a lot of people that are out in the public eye who believe in a light or a shine forget to tell people they struggled first. Do you know, and I think in this current climate, to know that there's a struggle before you get to enlightenment for whatever, and that doesn't need to be spiritual, it doesn't need to be God. Enlightenment just means walking in light, feeling lighter, feeling better about yourself. So I find that, and I just think in this, because my inbox is really bad, guys. I actually had a mental breakdown the other day. They're crying my eyes out. There was so many people in my inbox that needed help, and I couldn't help them. I get them a lot anyway, because obviously the kind of speeches I do and what I do. But it was overwhelming, and I had to phone Chrissy's house, who I use, and I can't help all these people. I was feeling like defeatist, and I felt failure because I can't do that. So she told me to write a post. You know, I can't be there for everybody. I can be inspirational, but I can't be everybody's confident, and I can't start that off, because as things grow, that's going to get bigger and be expected. And I put links some charities in, but people are, as I said, they are kind of getting desperate. And even though we've got used to the lockdown being extended for 3 weeks, mental health has took a real thing. And I just want, the pill has to be in the answer sometimes. Nothing can defy medicine and science. We know that even with the current pandemic. However, sometimes a wee bit extra bit of intervention. Sometimes, as they said, we needed science as much as we needed religion when it was first evolved. So you probably still need a bit of both always. In certain cases, don't ever think if it's not working, you can't go and get antidepressants or whatever you need to get, or counselling. Dawn is amazing at Reiki. Had a session with her and it was something else. So there you go. There's validation.
Hi.
So thank you so much before you let you go, Dawn.
No, so well, what I would say is be open, and just allow yourself to receive some extra help if you need it. And please, if anybody is really struggling and you're in a dark place, then please contact Dee to get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to help. Okay, bless you.
I'll definitely put Dawn's link up if anybody wants to look at distance Reiki or theta. She is an amazing person. She's down to earth. She's one of the few people that I find that use a tool and shine with it. You know, some people just use a tool because it's operational to them, but Dawn does really believe in her craft and her gifts. So she's a beautiful, enlightened person. And thank you very much, honey, for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Bye. So phone fell. She's lovely. So what did you think about the whole energy? Because I know you don't, like, obviously you're quite into a wee bit, but in and out. What did you think about the whole Reiki thing?
I think it's, I'm very open-minded to that. I think energy is something I believe in. We had this, I don't know if it was you or me, I had a conversation the other day about energy, and that's all we are. We're just balls of energy, and that's all around us. You know, nothing, to quote the title of a popular music band, NERD, no one ever really dies. Nothing ever really dies. If you think about water, you know, goes into the ground, it feeds the soil, feeds the plants, then it evaporates, it goes up into the sky, it becomes clouds, it travels around the world, it falls in a rainforest in Amazon, and then the process just recycles. We rot, go into the ground, our ashes float over the sea, feed the fish, nothing ever really dies. It's just energy moving around all the time. And so that's what I understand Reiki is about. It's about using that energy that exists and that's all around us to help us heal. And as you just said, it's not a replacement for science or conventional medicine, but it is a part of the tapestry, if you like, of healing. And so for a lot of people, it's amazing. What I find a bit dispiriting is when you find people who just want to quash alternative therapies and go, well, it's just nonsense. It's just some mad, rainforest, tree hugging hippie nonsense. And you're like, how can it can't be? It's just that there are, in a world as vast as ours, there is a vast array of different healing strategies for people, and all of them have value. But as with medicine and science, you do have to find the right people to administer. Dawn sounds
definitely.
like one.
I find as I said, I had really severe. I model my comedy a lot on the nicer side of who I was when I was younger, but there was a really, really very unhinged, damaged kind of view that just looked like, and I fought all the time. I was aggressive all the time, and I just had a horror, and I just thought, and I would swagger about, and it was, when I look back, it really is disheartening to think that I had to go that way. But if I hadn't got that, and I hadn't got the intervention with Reiki and Theta, I wouldn't have all the knowledge I do now, and I wouldn't be sitting here sharing it, and I wouldn't be making people laugh, because I wouldn't have had that comedy girl to fall back on.
Yeah.
So there's loads of reasons for the natural order to go around, but people will say to me all the time, because I help out with a lot of girls that are survivors of sexual abuse in a helpline, and I still do that. I used to do it 3 nights a week, but I do only do it 1 night a week now. And I've helped them for years, and some girls will just say, but it's not fair, and it's not fair, and that's done, and that's not happening, and no actions, because a lot of people don't go to prison for sexual abuse. Even now, there's still a lot of people that get away with it because of the historical content. And I said to them, you have to not let what that situation did to your love, because before that happened, it was pure, and anything that's pure can be channeled with pure energy to make it better again. You don't always have to feel broken in order to move on, or validate your brokenness every time you speak to somebody. At some point in your life, you have to say it's okay to be together and wear that. Do you know?
Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about that. I suppose it's not particular to Scotland, but there is. I know. So I grew up in the north coast of Scotland, in the Highlands, in a scheme. Parents divorced when I was 7. Violent alcoholic father, brought up single-handedly by my mum, me and my brother, on benefits. Lived in caravans. It was a harsh upbringing, and there was a lot of trauma involved in that. And so I was lucky that I got out of that small town, and I ended up going to college in London, and my view of the world opened up, and I got introduced to loads of different types of people, and I traveled and realized I needed to educate myself. And I was lucky to meet someone who introduced me to different forms of personal development. Now, I'd never heard of the term personal development, but with the trauma of my early childhood and some of the crises that I've had as an adult, that personal development helped me and continues to help me. But there's still a stigma in Scotland. It's not particularly Scotland. I suppose it's all over, but we live in Scotland, so let's talk about that. When you talk about these things out in the public, with regular people, you'll often encounter people who just want to dismiss it, and it's nonsense. Because we have this stigma in this country that you can't be doing that. It's goo-goo stuff, it's woo-woo. It doesn't. And anybody who's willing to apply themselves and use themselves as a field for learning, if you like, you'll become a better communicator. And I don't mean just outwardly with people, a better communicator with yourself, because self-communication is your first form, and it's the most powerful form. And we've all got it. I'm not good enough. I'm from a bad background. I'm not good at talking. I'm not good at this. And people's self-talk, I only learned about self-talk through personal development. But this conversation we're having now is all about empowering yourself and other people through learning. whether it's Reiki, whether it's meditation, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's whatever it is, the quality. Sherry Huber, whose book I recommend, Unconditional Self-Acceptance, because once you start being able to accept yourself and communicate with yourself in a better way, you'll see and experience a better quality of life. But she says the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the communication with yourself.
Totally.
Communication with themselves, and I count myself in this, has been pretty poor. And most of the times, if I have a crisis, and I went through a fairly hefty crisis last year, and when I look back, the self-talk that I had at the beginning, it was just shocking. And it was just digging me further and further down into a hole. So it affected my mental health big time. My depression was off the scale. And I just had to, and Sherry Huber's book helped me do that, just helped me align myself. What was my self-talk? It was all hellish. My inner, what they call the inner mentor was, and fascinatingly, right, all of us who listen to this just now, I bet you we're all great counselors to our pals. See, if we've got a pal who's going through a crisis, we're on the phone, we've got all the right advice, we're able to support them, we're able to give them, tell them what they should do and really be a mentor for them. But see, when we're going through our own crisis, we're a terrible mentor. We would never speak to our friends the way we speak to ourselves.
No.
Have you ever noticed that?
100%.
Like, we speak to ourselves, such a berating. Can be so hard on ourselves. And you'd be like, if you wrote it all down, which is a good exercise, you wrote it all down and then you read it back, you'd be like, God, I can't believe I spoke that way to that person, but that person's you. So it's
it's like the CBT as well, the cognitive behavioural therapy, looking at yourself and pulling out. My first real kind of it's time to change my life was reading Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist.
Oh,
right. So I've read it about 6 times, but my friend who is the shaman that I'm talking about, he handed it to me and he said to me, this book will change your life. So I sat on this book for a year because I was terrified that I was that person that wouldn't change its life. So I eventually read it, and it was like the gold and finding the principles. In fact, the pandemic has done the same thing as The Alchemist. It made you realise what was important, and that was my first changing point. And you have to be acceptance that there will always be people that say, well, they're just fake because they're not that person. That's not who they were 20 years ago. And you've got to accept that people say, oh, she does all that crazy stuff to hide that she was this and she was that. And you've got to be open. There's one thing that religion does have, right? You've got to be open for persecution, for change. You have both of them. They go hand in hand. And even now,
two
a
sides
lot of people.
Of the same coin. I'm not going anywhere. Stay there.
Right. Okay. So, but get the sign. So, like, exactly, Maureen. So it's moving forward. Into things, you've got to accept that some people will never forgive the things have happened of the past, but you also don't have to accept people doing things in the present. You know, you don't have to accept people doing things in the present because you used to be that person, because they're now speaking to the new person, the person who's evolved. Do you know what I mean?
That's another thing, isn't it? That you'll find when you have this conversation more widely, you will get resistance. You always will, but you have to, I suppose, let people have their. It's
not their journey.
They're on their own journey, and that's where they are at this moment. And it's kind of none of your business. So as a younger man, I remember trying to change people. Trying to. Whether it was whatever, vegetarianism or health or meditation or whatever personal development stuff I was doing at the time, and encountering resistance and just thinking, God, you're so close-minded. And then I realized I was part of the problem. See, when you resist, when you resist something, what you resist, what is that they say? What you resist persists. And so that you were talking about earlier, like when your friend said to you, where are you during these dramas? Where are you? And you were right in the middle.
Yeah.
What a great distinction that is to learn. It's like, I'm in the middle of all of this. And so I realized that as I was trying to push something that I was passionate about, and that passion's brilliant, but when I realized I was meeting resistance and I would meet resistance head on, I was like, how's that making me feel? Not very good. So you have to kind of, if you do get resistance, you have to, and that's what's good about meditation. My friend, meditating for 20 odd years now, said to me once, he said, "Why are you meditating anyway?" He said, "Why are you doing it?" And I said, "Oh, I just want to still the mind." And he said, "Well, that's great, but you can just go for a walk and still the mind. Why are you really meditating?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. You told me to meditate." He said, "No, but why?" He said, "Basically, you meditate to put the monkey in the cage." And I said, "Well, he said, that monkey that we've all got, the monkey brain, the chimp brain that operates, that rears its head, that will always be there. The most enlightened person in the world sitting on the top of the mountain contemplating the navel still has a monkey up there who's chimping away, I'm not good enough. I just want to eat and have sex all the time, whatever those drives, that chimp drives, that's there all the time. But to be able to let those thoughts pass through, which is acknowledge it, see it for what it is, and put the monkey back in the cage, that's kind of what you meditate for.
I found it, and there's the local place near me called Tiana Falls, and obviously I've been through quite a hard time recently, and I find very connected to water, always have, always been there. And I went down the other day there, and I was meditating to the water, and somebody had said to me, it goes, "Oh, but could you not just do that in the house to the sound?" And I'm like, "No, because I'm sensitive to the element, and I feel the water rush through me." And when I was younger, I was pre-conditioned that my family just reacted badly to anything. There was always a screaming match. There was always somebody that was right. There was always somebody, and I felt I had to be that. So I find myself now being honest with myself, going, can I fix this? If I shout, will this be worse for me? Yes, it will. Can I change them? No, I can't. So that's all self-development stuff, because I've questioned myself. And what I would have done before is I shouted at everybody in a toxic scenario, gave them all their character that I thought they deserved, tell them exactly who they are, what they're all about, and what they should do with their life, and walk out a building and then expect that was deserved. And it took me years to say, you really don't have to try and fix everybody, and people are allowed to have a poor opinion of you. As long as you don't have that, that's fine.
Yeah, that's an important distinction. Other people's opinion of you is none of your business.
It took me years to learn that. Years.
It's none of your business. Like you will never be able to enter the mind of another human and alter what they think of you. That's kind of entirely their business. And some people will be in alignment with you, and their opinion of you will chime with your opinion of yourself. But oftentimes it's like, you'll never be able to alter that. It's good to give that away and go,
but actually that's what I'm saying, because we were doing this show, I'm going to finish it on the wee passage that the thing made, but I get given this by a woman gypsy in the middle of the
I have seen that, Susan Hayward.
I've had it for about 10 years, I think. But even when she handed it to me, there was a wee kind of message in it. It's kind of add with the light for somebody else it had been given to, and then a wee passage for the person that gave it to me. But I was thinking about it, and obviously trying to channel into my Reiki and thinking, what am I going to do? And I got the passage that was in there, and it says about Reiki, and it says, the measure of mental health is the disposition to find good everywhere. Truth does not change, although your perception of it may vary or alter drastically. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's basically quite weird, because it's just everything we've just said.
Yeah. And that book, so for people who are watching, I highly recommend that book.
The best book in the planet. I
try and read that every couple of years, and I've bought, the reason that's on the shelf and that's unflicked through is because I buy copies and I give them away to people.
So do I.
I just give them away. So if you're ever at a charity bookshop and you find copies of these, just buy them anyway and give them to folk, because it's a really great read. Easy, enjoyable. It's like reading a novel, but you're being enriched by it.
You're being enriched by it, and you're getting a way forward of how, because I watched, I don't know if you've read Veronica Decides to Die as well.
I haven't read that one. No.
It's good. It's a hard get, and it gets such a good message in it if you read it. It's such, because I've read that and the Valkyries and the
Pilgrimage. Yeah. No, I haven't read those ones. And that one's another good one. It's The Prophet.
Yes. That's very good.
It's a little classic to have, full of gems. And that stuff, I was having this chat with my brother the other day, he's one of these guys who will be drawn to conspiracy theories, and now they're all around us, and we can validate them and accept that there's everything is technically a conspiracy theory. There's a theory and there's potentially a conspiracy. But I said, what are you feeding if your brain is soil, what are you feeding it with? And he, ultimately finally got to him admit that most of this, and this is something we need to think about now when we're surrounded by news that is mostly pretty doom and gloom. It's not that you maybe should turn off totally, but just be aware of what you're putting in, because if you were trying to cultivate a beautiful garden and you were just feeding it really, hardly ever watering it and feeding it mostly with rubbish, it's not going to be very nice. And I just think these kind of books are just basically like feeding the soil of your experience.
It's nurturing. We can't. It's like we said about people in this. We cannot change the elements and the shift and the universal shift in the planet, but we can change how we go at it, how it affects us, and how we deal with it. That's what we're in control of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, that's us run out of time. It's just gone like that. It's been great. But any questions or any inbox, we are going to try. My friend who's a shamanic is going to see if he can get a strong enough connection. At the moment, he doesn't, because he doesn't believe in Wi-Fi. So that's a whole new issue. So we are trying to get him somewhere that he can get on Wi-Fi and get there. So he might not be in next week. It might be the following, but we will have someone. But thanks very much. Is there anything you want to finish up with, Adam?
No, thanks for having me on. If anyone is interested, I have a channel called When Men Don't Talk, and you can Google When Men Don't Talk, or you can put it into Facebook, and it's worth, I'd just like to kind of punt that. I realised last year when I was in a pretty dark place myself that the male suicide rate is something that needs to be talked about, and getting men talking is something I'm fairly passionate about. It's something I'm dealing with because I realise it's not my conditioning and conditioning of men in Scotland particularly is just to plough on, to be strong and stable, and not really check in with yourself and talk. So if there's guys listening to this, or women who know guys out there who need to talk and could do with talking, point them in the direction of that channel, and we'll keep the conversation going.
So we will be back next week with hopefully my shamanic friend. If not, there may be a Buddhist, there may be some other spiritual energy, but we'll have another guest for next Tuesday. But thanks for tuning in to the first week of The Real Show, and we'll be back with you next week, guys. Thanks very much. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.